Now, why do I even bring up the subject of shifts? Well, the reason I do this is this. It's slang. But you know what? If you talk in slang, you need to understand it. If folks are going to speak to you using slang, if you don't understand it, you don't understand the language, right? I remember being a nurse almost a year. And you know when you hit that, you hit that year of practice, you're finally feeling like, all right, I know more than I don't know. You know, I'm feeling like I can answer questions, and you're all smiling at me. You know, I know more than I don't know. It's a big milestone. And I was at that milestone, and I was taking a report from the ER one night. I work on a med-surg unit for younger babies. I was taking a report on a patient. I think it was just a baby who was a fever, work rule out sepsis. And she's giving me a report. I take all the report, and the last thing that this ER nurse says to me is, oh, and by the way, she has a left shift. And she hangs up the phone. And I'm looking around. I was feeling pretty smart at the time until she said that. And I thought, what the heck is a left shift? And you know what I did? I did what most of us do in that moment, which is I didn't tell anybody. I'm embarrassed to say I didn't tell anybody. I didn't say, hey, Susie, what's a left shift? Because I felt stupid. I felt like, well, what's the matter with me? I don't know what a left shift is. And you know what? If I had asked, because I grew up to become a hematology nurse practitioner, and I grew up to learn that most people don't know. And if I had asked my colleagues, my mentors, the charge nurse, they would have all said to me, I'm not sure. And then we would have gone to the literature. We would have gone for help. So I regret I didn't do that. But it reminds me that many of us don't speak the language, don't speak the slang. And if you don't, and people use it, you're paralyzed, right? So that's why we talk about shifts. So what is a left shift? A left shift is an increase in the band neutrophils, okay? It indicates a bacterial infection. So when we talked about that subsequently, does anyone know why it is that a left shift is indicative of an increase in your bands? Anyone? And it's sort of another trivial pursuit question. Anybody know why? Yes.
Because the left is the beginning. The left is the beginning of the cell cycle.
Exactly. So the comment was the left is the beginning of the cell cycle, and we write the lab literally used to write the labs down. They would write them from bands, segs, lymphs, monos, eos, basos, exactly. So it was literally written from left to right. Anymore, so many of our labs are on computer screens. But again, that's the reason why it's called a left shift, okay? Now, another thing for you to understand about shifts is that when we think about left shifts, technically a left shift is an increase in your band neutrophils. However, practically, we talk about your bands and your segs because we talk about them together. So when we say left shift, if there's no band increase, but there's a big increase in the segs, practically in real life, we'll say that's a left shift. Technically, in terms of the book knowledge, we say it's only bands, but in practice, truly, we're interested in an increase in the bands and or the segs as a left shift, okay? And we get real excited about left shifts. So what about a right shift? What about a right shift? Well, technically, there's no such thing, okay? Why do you think there's no such thing as a right shift and we don't run around and say, hey, this kid's got a right shift? Why did that nurse that night, why would she have not mentioned if the child had a right shift? Anybody know? Again, no wrong answers. What do you think? Because it's not exciting, right? A right shift is viral. A right shift, this kid's got bronchiolitis RSV, and like him and 50 of his colleagues on the unit, right? They've all got bronchiolitis RSV in the wintertime. Again, we're not going to do anything about it. But that patient with the 18 bands that I talked about, that was a patient, if we had caught that patient, we would have done everything under the sun. We would have gotten a full septic workup. We might have gotten a chest x-ray. We might have gotten urine cultures. We would have put him on antibiotics. We would have made sure he was on a cardio, respiratory monitor. We would have been real excited because we would be concerned about sepsis and about major bacterial infection. And we would want to make sure people knew to monitor this patient. This patient's at high risk, right? With a viral shift, who cares? We're not going to do anything, so we're not that interested. And that's truly the reason why. But a right shift is a shift to the viral end. So when we say there's a right shift, it means that there's an increase in the lymphs and the monos. The lymphs and the monos are our viral end. Okay. How do I remember this? I got another trick. Okay. Left before right, so L before R in the alphabet, or left before right, left hand before right hand, bacterial before viral. So B in bacteria comes before V in viral, left before right, B before V. So left is a bacterial. Is bacterial, right shift is viral. And that's truly the way I've always remembered it and always taught it.